What's going on, guys? Snake Eyes here, playing some more Dark Souls 2, and this video is going to be PvP, but with a little twist. Some matches I'm going to go into detail with, some I'm not. This was actually a pretty interesting fight that I had. I see that he has a great sword on him, so I know his attacks are going to be a little slow. So pretty much I go up and bait the attacks and try to roll through. I also noticed that he doesn't have very heavy armor, so I know the attacks that I can do are going to be pretty damaging. He kind of surprised me with the Avalon. I didn't really expect him to pull that out, but right here, this is where I get into a little specifics of it. When I go to do the back step and he does his strong attack, I noticed that my timing was a little bit off. We ended up trading hits, so by the time that it comes to this one, I know that I have to do it a little bit early, so that way I can kind of stun lock him out of that move. And luckily my timing was really good. It allowed me to chain up a couple of attacks. This was actually right after the fight that you just saw. I'm low health, so pretty much the first reaction was to just get out of there, heal up, and especially since what I saw in the beginning, which I'm going to get into, kind of led me to believe that this guy really wasn't going to give me a chance to do anything. So I see that he has a pyromancy flame. That just leads me to believe that I can't have a lot of space between us because it could be really dangerous. I also see right here that he's not really afraid of letting out a flurry of hits. Right here is where he tries to do a pyromancy, and I ended up just breaking lock on and landing the backstab. I could have followed it up with that, but there was a little lag. At this point, I'm just worried about getting out of there. We end up messing up and falling through the middle of the hole. I don't know what he was trying to do. He was probably trying to bait a falling down so that way he can have a pyromancy ready. But at this point, me and him are kind of low health. The running thrusting attack on these katanas are actually really good. You're going to see me use it a lot. But at this point, I know what he's looking for is the backstab. So my main thing was to maintain distance, and if I do attack, get out of there really quick. Right here, he's actually making it really obvious that that's what he wants. I land the hit, and now that I know he's really low health, he's either going to do a pyromancy or try to get lucky with a backstab. So right when I see him pull out the pyromancy flame, I do the same thing, break lock on, and luckily we traded hits, but luckily I didn't die. Like I said, I'm going to get into a little bit more specifics with this fight. The beginning was a little telling on what he already wanted to do. Right here, I see him as I'm bowing, already trying to go for the backstab, so that pretty much made me conscious of the backstab from the beginning of the fight. I also saw the pyromancy, so I took the opportunity to use the casting time that it takes to do one to go ahead and get a quick backstab. And then after I did that, I know he was going to be looking for it because that's what he's been looking for since the beginning of the fight. Right here, I actually tried to enchant my my katana just to see, just to see how much of a difference it does. I see him wanting to go to the second floor, so I go ahead and follow him. He also gained some space, and he doesn't do anything, so I was thinking that he was probably trying to do a greet before we fight. But I see that he's already trying to do something, especially while I was trying to do a greet to him. So that kind of led me to also think that I can't really mess around with this guy. He'll take any opportunity that he gets. And I'm also in the lead right now, so as you can see, I was doing a couple parries. I was really just fooling around because I just wanted to see if I could land a parry on him. And the way that he was already fighting, I just really wanted to get it over with and fight. But luckily, the running thrusting attack was the one that did it for me. That move actually has some pretty crazy tracking. If you guys haven't did it, if you haven't used it, I definitely recommend checking it out because, like I said, you're going to be seeing me use it a lot because it's really good. And right here is going to be no cuts. This is actually what happened. Another guy gets summoned. I noticed that another guy's going to get summoned because the fog gate didn't disappear after I killed the phantom. And if you wait too long, more than one phantom can summon, and depending on how the individual person is, could mean a bad time. But I knew this guy. He was actually pretty cool. This was I played him a couple times in this session, so me and him just say hi. And like I said, he's really cool. He's a pretty decent PvP player. I'm not the best myself, so we had a pretty even match. After that, I kind of was like, well, it was a little bit more humorous. I also know that this guy has some pretty decent connection, so I'm not too worried about anything. I made a mistake in trying to parry, but right there I didn't roll because I knew I could just walk out of it. Like I said, the connection was really good. And right here, me and him are really low health, so we're both trying to play it cautious. We both do a fail at the rolling R1s, but all in all, like I said, it's a pretty good fight. A little nerve-wracking towards the end. I get in one lucky hit, and now me and him are both really lucky held. That gave me false confidence, and that gave him the sense of urgency to want to actually try to get a hit on me. Right here, I kind of knew what was going to happen, but I was hoping that my move was going to be faster. We ended up trading hits, and it ended up being a double KO. But like I said, that was a really good fight. I really liked it, and all in all, like I said, every single time we fought, it was always a good match. But this one was actually pretty interesting, and that's why I included it. Right off the bat from this guy, I noticed that he's pretty aggressive. He didn't even maintain distance, but I see the way that he's playing and the weapon that he's using, so I know his attacks are going to be a little slow. But I also noticed the pattern with this guy, and I'll get into that in a little bit. What I didn't really like about this fight is this is one of the things that I hate about the Bellkeeper's Covenant is another Phantom will get summoned, and depending on how that person is, they'll do something like that. And me and him were having a pretty good fight, and I figured that guy was going to let us do it. What's even worse is the taunting afterwards. I just feel like that's uncalled for, especially since 2 versus 1, you know, that's too much to ask of anybody. So right there I just do a couple swipes, but I knew it wasn't going to do anything. The habits that I noticed from this guy was that he went for a double parry. So one, that was telling me that he was looking for it, but then he followed it up with a strong attack, an overhead. That also made me believe that that's all he was going to be trying to do. So right there, he did it, and I couldn't punish him because he rolled out, but he didn't roll out of this one, and that allowed me to kind of just walk up, get in a free hit. I also knew I had to save my stamina because his attacks would be really heavy hitting, so I had to be careful for that. With a name like this, I should have expected the Great Bow. I hadn't fought a Great Bow person in this game, so those first 2 hits were actually pretty surprising. I didn't think that they'd get me. He switches over to, I believe, the S stock, and then when he lands that one hit, it kind of just clicked in my head that it might not be upgraded because he's not doing too much damage on me. As you can see, I'm also switched it up. I'm dual wielding now, and the combos on this thing is ridiculous. It lets me do chunks of damage at a time. Right off the bat, another guy gets summoned, and luckily I finished off the first guy. But I see how he is. He actually bowed at the beginning, so it kind of let me let my guard down a little bit. I let him do what he needs to do, and I just heal up the rest of my health. This is actually a pretty interesting fight that I'm going to get into, but right off the bat, I wanted to change the location of the fight. Getting caught in the corner with one of those is pretty dangerous, and right now I'm just kind of, you know, we're kind of just feeling each other out. I noticed that when I went in a little aggressive, he still kind of rolled away. We both did backstep R1s, but mine's had more range, so that's why mine's was able to connect. At this point in time, he hasn't hit me yet, and I got him less than half health, so I kind of get a little more confident, and I want to see what he does to that. I'll get into that and what I just saw at that little, just kind of experimenting, and it kind of leads me to do this next move, which is, like I said, kind of where I draw it from my first time. So this was actually a pretty good fight, and it was something subtle that I picked up from him that allowed me to get that second one and ultimately the win. So right here I have more health, so I want to see how he reacts when I act aggressive. I notice he rolls away, but the second thing that I notice is he also rolls towards me. So that means that he's starting to get a little aggressive, and he has to be, because if he wants to win, that's how he's going to have to act. So right here I fake an aggressive move so I can backstep and land a couple hits. This fight was a little laggy, so it's always best to do a couple extra hits just in case. That thrusting attack would have hit, but like I said, it's always best to just do a couple of attacks because you're never too sure. And this guy was actually pretty interesting. Right off the bat, I noticed that he has his shield up. This was actually my bad. I didn't know what he was going to do, so I wanted to get a little aggressive. I rolled away because I didn't want to make him think that I was the type of person to kind of take advantage of a situation. Right now we're in close corridors. I used the Dark Drift's special ability, which is the strong attack pierces through shields, and I see that that's how he's trying to act. At this point in time, I seen that there's now another Phantom, and in my experience, when there was more than one Phantom, they tended to kind of gang up. So right here, when it's 2 versus 1, I kind of just waited for him to do what he was going to do, so that way I already knew where I was going to go. I was going to go in the center, and I saw the guy come down, so I assumed the worst. I assumed that they were going to gang up on me, so I take the time to heal up. And in hindsight, that was actually my bad. I shouldn't have done that, because they wait for me to finish off one guy, and then like I said, that was kind of my bad. But right here, I kind of let my guard down because I see that sorcery didn't hit me, and then right now I'm just kind of wasting all of her sorceries. But I let my guard down from the first one that I actually get clipped through the wall with the second one. That was my phone, sorry about that. And in hindsight, this was actually kind of a sloppy thing on my part. I ended up healing, but the thing about sorcerers is they get pretty much they get broken out of their casting if you're aggressive enough, and the dual wield katanas actually do some pretty decent poise damage. So right here, I see the Pyromancy Flame. I see that she's a sorcerer. She has no melee, so at this point you have to be aggressive. Flame Swathe, this is actually after patch, so it probably would have killed me, but luckily it didn't. I made some pretty bad decisions on this fight. One of them you're going to see actually live right now, and pretty much what that is that I was overly cautious. I should have taken the opportunity to see that he's not trying to be aggressive, so I should have been aggressive. And this ends up really screwing me over in the long run, but I'll explain that in a little bit. Right here, he actually tries to go in for an attack, and I see the damage that I've done, and I should have took the opportunity to keep being aggressive and kind of getting him a little nervous. But at this point, another Phantom gets summoned, and I'm not too sure what they were going to do, but as soon as he switched out to his Catalyst, I knew that they were planning to gang up on me. At this point in time, I'm still pretty confident in the fight. I see that I can do some decent damage to the dual wielding claw person, and a sorcerer, you can pretty much do some decent damage on them too. This is where I mess up, and spoiler alert, I actually do lose this fight. But I included this in because there's a couple of mistakes that you guys could probably learn from what I've done. I laughed because this guy fell, and I thought it was kind of funny, so I included that in there as well. But right off the bat, where I messed up was I tried to target the sorcerer, but I see that the dual wielder is actually going to come up, so I decided to switch my target lock. This ends up messing me up because my target lock gets switched twice, and that first hit connect, the second one didn't. But my second mistake was I rolled towards the claw person when I should have rolled to the hole in the floor. A little bit lag ended up hitting me mid fall right there, and that made the fall lethal. I could have probably survived it, but all in all, like I said, it was a little laggy mixed in with being ganged up on. It's really no big deal. But this is actually the last fight that I had in the session. I started off being super aggressive, and dual wielding Castus are actually pretty cool. I have a lot more fights like this. All in all, pretty cool. But at this point in time, I've had some pretty bad experiences, so I'm assuming the worst. I'm assuming he's going to heal. He jumps off because I'm still being overly aggressive, and I follow it up with the taunt, and in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that because he could have just been prepping a pyromancy, but at the same time, like I said, I was assuming the worst. I was assuming he was going to heal, so that's my bad, but all in all, it was a pretty good fight. This is actually a little bonus right here. I actually get summoned by BradPytt, and I know what you guys are thinking. They've been spelling his name wrong in Hollywood all along. It's actually with a Y, it's not with an I, so I'm pretty sure he's frustrated at that fact. But obviously it's not the real BradPytt. But I decided to add this because in the session I was also trying to help people out as well. And this is just one of the fights that we had with the Belfry Gargoyles. But I wanted to add this one in because it was kind of cool and long enough for me to go ahead and say that this is actually the first time, especially if you guys have been here for a while, that I've done something like this as far as PvP goes. And I really want to hear you guys' feedback. Do you like some stuff like this? Because to be honest, I actually had fun all around doing everything in this. I had fun editing it. I had fun actually playing in PvP. I didn't really do that back before when I was recording. And to do it for you guys here and right now, and especially in this game, it was actually pretty fun. So, you know, all in all, everything about it was actually pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I want to hear what you guys think, if you guys enjoyed it as well. And this is kind of a format where I just want to kind of point out some things that I was thinking of mid-fight, and some mistakes that I had done that could have been prevented. But in hindsight, it's all about learning, and it's all about getting better at this, and that's what I try to do. So like I said, really want to hear you guys' opinion. If you guys enjoyed this, please let me know. Leave a like if you did, and for those who are new to my channel, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be doing more of these in the future, but you know, that's just, it's going to take time because this does take a little time to do everything. But all in all, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, take care.